Yeah, it's
Hi ho, hi ho.
like.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Right, oh.
I'm feeling.
Oh, good. Happy to be here. Yeah.
I know.
Family trip, what kind of trip?
Amongst.
Yeah. No, I just love, I have to have a picture of you on a horseback on the beach. But that sounds like only one.
Yeah.
I like the song.
That's awesome.
Right.
You go.
Right there with me.
Pretty sure you pointed that out.
Probably. Makes me giggle.
Okay. Busy day?
It's my shirt.
Thank you.
Being not.
Yeah, I believe.
Oh, because you expect my negative relative Tuesday. Not even know that is.
My youngest is. Yeah, I'm gonna go huge amount of detail.
Yes.
Okay.
Walk past the street on the ground. It's like, well, not really.
Okay, it is 6 o'clock, so I'm going to call this meeting to order. I'll call it to order one more time so it's on the record. All right, and then we'll begin our meeting with an invocation or thought. Tonight, we'll be privileged to hear from our new Assistant Police Chief, Davis, in observance of National Police Week, followed by which I've asked our Police Chief, Garrett Atkin, to lead us in the pledge.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm honored to carry on the tradition started by Chief Atkin by taking a few moments to share what is known as the law enforcement thought. It is an opportunity to convey a message of hope, professionalism, and pride in a calling that is rooted in service and commitment to others. Each May, during National Law Enforcement Week, communities across America honor the men and women who have sworn an oath to protect and serve. It is a time to remember those who have made the ultimate sacrifice and to recognize the daily courage it takes to wear the badge. In 2024, 165 officers across the United States lost their lives in the line of duty. Thus far, in 2025, 25 officers have paid the ultimate price. Those numbers are a sobering reminder of the risks our law enforcement professionals face each and every day. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Law enforcement in America was born from the simple yet powerful idea that safety, service, and justice are foundations upon which strong communities are built. Today, that spirit remains alive and well. Here in Syracuse, we are especially blessed. We live in a community where service is valued, where neighbors care deeply for one another, and where the support of our police department is both strong and sincere. Our citizens stand beside our officers, offering encouragement, trust, and partnership. It is the bond between the community and law enforcement that makes Syracuse truly exceptional. As we move forward, we must continue to embrace our community with humility and openness, committing ourselves to transparency and working together towards a future rooted in mutual respect and shared purpose. Tonight, we honor the memory of those we have lost. We celebrate those who continue to serve with honor and compassion, and we move forward with hope, knowing that the strength of our community and the nobility of this profession will continue to light the way. Thank you and God bless.
And arms. I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Put your arms. God, may you see the thing. Thank you so much. At this time, I'll call for an adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The next item that we have on our agenda is recognition. Our police force has some wonderful volunteers from our Lions Club, so we would like to recognize those volunteers, and I would invite council to join me down below and recognize them.
Mayor and Council, thank you for this opportunity. The week of April 20th, 2025 was set aside as National Volunteer Week. One purpose of National Volunteer Week is to recognize those who have given back to the community through their acts of service. Since 2013, Syracuse Police Department and the Syracuse Lions Club have partnered to form a Volunteers in Police Service program. We have worked together to raise money for charitable events, support Lions Club causes, and perform services for the public. In 2024, this group performed public fingerprinting services for approximately 200 people. To commemorate their continued service to the department and the community, I got them on the front, it says, "Never forget the difference you make." And on the back, it says, "Syracuse Police Department, 75th anniversary, 1950 to 1925. Your fingerprints are all over this community. Thank you for your service." And then it has their last name. So it is with great pride and admiration I present the members of our Volunteers in Police Service program to the Mayor and Council for recognition. Would the following Lions please come forward? Lynn John, Sandra John, Don Jensen, Deborah Smith, Mike Eisenberg, Chris O'Shea, Eric Ellington, and Jane Gailey.
Friday, okay, yeah.
What's that?
Yes.
You do.
You know, good looking people in front of
I wonder if you would able to take those cards. Thank you.
No.
Stop it.
Huh?
We don't know.
Yeah.
We do appreciate our law enforcement and recognize them. We also appreciate our Lions volunteers and thank them. The next item on our agenda is public comment. This is an opportunity for anyone in the community to address the council. We do ask that you limit it to about 3 minutes. It's not a question and answer. By law, we can't address anything that's not on our agenda, but we will hear from anybody who has something to bring forward at this time. Yeah, please just state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Mark Wagner, and my address is 2437 West, 1500 South in Syracuse. And the reason I'm here is because I'm concerned about the next year's budget. So I'm watching it kind of closely. I wanted to introduce myself because I will be contacting each of the council members to see where you stand on this matter. I understand we got a follow-up meeting in June.
Mm-hmm.
So I plan on being there. So thanks for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, I will close public comment. The next item on our agenda is approval of the minutes. Tonight, we have 5 sets of minutes from previous meetings for approval. That would be March 11th, 2025, which would be our regular business meeting, March 25th, which would be our city council work session, April 8th, which would be our April business meeting, April 8th, redevelopment agency special meeting, and April 22nd, which would be our work session for April. Council, if anybody has any adjustments, please bring them forward, or I'll take a motion to approve.
I motion that we approve the minutes as listed.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. Item number 5 is our consent agenda. These would be items that were previously discussed in a work session and appeared to have all concur with what was being proposed. At any time, just so the public knows, any council member can take something off the public consent agenda if they have something to bring forward. But our items for consent tonight are item A, authorize administration to execute interlocal cooperation agreement for municipal elections between Davis County and Syracuse City. B, approve polling locations for 2025 municipal elections. C, authorize administration to execute interlocal cooperation agreement from dispatch services between Davis County and Syracuse City. And item D, proposed ordinance 25-21, amending the Syracuse City zoning map for property located at 2800 South, 1400 West, Agriculture A1 to Residential R2, applicant Chase Stevenson. Council, is there any item that we'd like to pull off, or are we good to make a motion? I'll take a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the items on the consent agenda as you have outlined.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, the next item would be item number 6, and there are 2 parts to this, so I'll read them carefully. Item 6 is general plan amendment and zone change, applicant for the property located at 2000 West and 2700 South. The first part of this is proposed ordinance 25-22, application for general plan amendment for the property located at 2000 West to 27 South. And the second is property ordinance or proposed ordinance 25-23, zone change for the same property as mentioned from residential R1 to R3, to R3. No, is there anything that we are not already aware of from the packet that you need to bring forward? Council, do we have any-
Nothing's changed since last time we spoke about it.
Council, does anybody have any questions about this that they'd like to bring forward or discussion? Would someone like to make a motion? We can approve these both at the same time.
Just a discussion point. I do think this is a better path. We've aligned all the commercial along the corridors. This seems to make more sense. R3 along the freeway area, again, is probably a better use for the land. That commercial wouldn't make sense back there. So I have no issues with this, and I'm willing to let it move ahead. So I'll go ahead and make the motion that we approve ordinance 25-22 and ordinance 25-23, making the adjustments as been outlined.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Hey, coffee shop would be great there.
Item number 7, proposed ordinance 25-24, zone change and preliminary plat approval located at 3015 South, 2000 West, residential R1, agriculture A1, and residential planned community RPC to planned residential development PRD. Council, I will bring to your attention that this is something that we had discussed previously. The applicant took some extra time to go back and make considerable adjustments to the things that you had contentious points with. And I have to give them a shout out that I think that they did a good job of addressing the concerns that came forward. They combined the green space into usable spaces, which is appreciated. They offered freely a development schedule, which is one of the key challenges we've had in the city, is things developing too quickly. So with those and the other changes, I will open it up for discussion amongst council.
I thought we didn't like a PRD in this.
We didn't, but they made a change. And so it hadn't been voted on. We did not vote on this. So we gave them time to make changes before it came back for a vote.
I personally am still of the opinion that some of these lots, I would like larger lots. That was one of the things I mentioned last time, more of the larger lots, combining a few more of them. I'm still of that opinion.
Okay.
That's my only complaint. Other than
I
that,
realize some of these are now 20,000 square feet. There's
and some
a
of them,
couple of them are very big.
sure, but most of them are
correct.
5,000.
That's correct.
Majority of them are right around 5,000, which I believe is the minimum.
Well, they had some at 4,000, so they did bring it.
Agree.
I do like the vast, like the array of the lot sizes that they have. They got options. I like options. I don't like people being limited. I think options are a big deal. I do think what Jordan is saying, there's a lot more of the smaller ones than most, than he or I clearly would like to see. But I definitely appreciate the effort that went into this for those lot sizes. The choices matter. People like choices.
Good point. Anyone else?
I like the concept. Again, I'm probably in the same boat as Jordan and Jennifer, that some of the lots are a little small, but they've done a good job with the layout of the development. I like the green space. I like that that they're limiting the number developed per year for the first 3 years. So yeah, again, it's not exactly what I wanted, but I know they've made some concessions, and overall I think it's pretty good development.
Anyone else? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, I just, do you two there at the end have anything to say on this? I would really like to hear because I'm still very much on the fence, but I love what they did with it. But I would like to hear your opinions.
I don't know, I still worry about developers like this and these development properties being turned into, rentals of America. And now we've got an entire development that's just solely renters.
Do we have that? Yeah, yes, we do. Yes, we do. That was something we talked about on this my very first thing
Go
here.
ahead, Noah.
Yeah, it's in the development agreement, or it'll be for sale.
Perfect.
They will be owner occupied.
That's
Really important. I don't think we need any more developments that are just all rental homes.
I agree.
So that's another improvement for the
I'm
property.
fine with this. I think that adequate concessions have been made, and that's a good plan and use for this area.
Okay, cool. Thank you, guys.
Would you
They can
speak
be-
into the mic a little bit more? Representative Cragen, thank you. All right, anyone like to make a motion?
I move that we approve proposed ordinance 25-24, which is the zone change for and preliminary plat approval for the property located at 3015 South, 2000 West, residential, agricultural, and residential planned community to planned residential development.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay, that passes 4-1. Congratulations. Item number 8 is accept tentative fiscal year budget for 2025-26 and set public hearing for June 10th to consider adoption of the final budget. So there's a couple of parts to this, council. The first is, are we going to notify that we are going to hold a hearing, which can change in June if you choose. But if we're going to hold a hearing, we need to advise the county. The last day to consider this, as we do in June, that will be an official vote. Right now, it's a tentative, which basically means we're going to publish the budget as is or with the changes you're proposing for review between now and June 10th. Was that clear? Or did I confuse somebody? So this is not the final. This is just what we're going to go for in the June business meeting.
So is this the one that holding the rate, or is this the one that you presented?
Either one you propose. This is not, we're going to either hold the rate or the original post, whatever you propose in your motion.
The one in the packet is not holding the rate.
That's what I thought.
Okay,
Which is the one that I would like to see go through.
okay.
I'm on opposition with that. I would like to at least hold the rate.
Okay.
So
I think it's irresponsible not to.
Any other comments before I go? I'm gonna
Sorry,
take a second.
go ahead.
I'm happy to comment. I initially looked at this one way. My viewpoint has now changed. I don't think that holding the rate is sufficient. If I had adequate votes, I would do something additional beyond holding the rate. I don't think that holding the rate is sufficient to get the things done that are needed. I don't think that it would provide the benefit that's needed. I think that this council and whoever it ends up being next round needs to be very, very careful about going forward with this, that there needs to be more input, at least on a bi-monthly basis, perhaps monthly basis. I think we're going to end up in the same problem a year from now that we have right now, but I'm not interested in going through a big hassle for something that isn't going to provide any benefit. So that's where I stand.
Okay. Jordan, go ahead.
So I've gone back and forth on this. I've probably been the one that's sat on the fence the most. I've talked to legislators about truth in taxation because truth in taxation is a misnomer. I've reached out to legislators. I've found out that the Senate is actually one of the people holding this up as a model of how to do things, even though it's not accomplishing what they're hoping for. I'll continue to fight that fight, but what I'm not seeing is I see the appetite to hold the rate. However, I don't think that it's going to do anything. If just holding the rate, I agree that if you're going to do something, you need to do more than that. However, as I've been talking to citizens, we've had several fee increases that have affected people. I've talked to several people about is 2 to 3% really going to make a difference? I mean, this one it won't. I also agree that holding the rate is where you adjust for inflation. But at the same time, I think I've decided I'm going to buy into the hope for all of the different sales that should be coming through in the upcoming year. We're going to see a lot of business growth. And if we can get that to cover us for the next couple of years, I'm going to buy into the optimism for this year. So I'm actually in favor of moving forward with the budget that's in the packet.
Would you like to make that as a motion?
I would like to see if anyone else wants to make a comment first.
Go ahead.
I think what everybody said is wise. I mean, holding, again, if the legislature and the state would change what the law is regarding the holding the rate, I think that helps cities in the long run. But for what it accomplishes, holding the rate for what it accomplishes for us this year, which isn't much, I think, again, I'm still of the opinion that we don't hold the rate this year, and we give citizens some reprieve.
Would anyone else like to speak to the issue?
Reprieve that they're gonna have to choke down in another 2 years? Like, what are we at now for the renovations for the police department when it started at 85,000, kicking that can down the road? We're probably close up to the 400,000 mark at this point. And if
Okay.
you ask me, that is wasteful spending when it finally comes to taking care of the process. So I'm with Brett on this.
Okay. Still looking for a motion. Someone.
I move that we accept the tentative fiscal year 2025-2026 budget. And set a public hearing on June 10th, 2025 to consider adoption of the final budget.
I did not hear.
You moved to the budget. Adam.
He moved to budget as in the packet.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nah.
Okay, that passes 4-1. Item number 9 is proposed resolution R 25-19, amending the city personnel policy and procedures manual by making adjustments throughout. Steve, would you give us the highlights of this? We have gone over this for the public knowledge, but just give us the highlights for the record.
Yeah, we discussed this in work session. The only changes are in red in this revised packet, and we briefly talked about all of them. One change was to the nepotism law. The second change was to add the law about child sex abuse training and background policy. And the third change was the per diem request for dietary restrictions. Everything else has stayed the same from our previous discussion.
I would like to call out that I don't think that there was a majority support for the per diem change, but if there is, I'm willing to acquiesce to that.
For dietary needs.
Is there a majority supporting that change?
I just remember from our discussion, we didn't really think that was a huge issue.
I don't think it's a huge issue either. And
What is the net cost of that anticipated?
it really depends on how people take advantage of it. If it's underutilized, there's next to no cost. If people abuse the policy, which is the risk that I'm concerned about, is that they go to conferences that supply meals and then claim the per diem on top of that, that it would be irresponsible. That's my only concern. And having been to a conference recently where that happened very openly, I was disappointed to see colleagues not in the city, colleagues from other cities blatantly say, absolutely, I love this policy. They feed us the meal and I claim it on my expense report. I said, that's not something I'm willing to do. So that opened my eyes to, there is room for fraud, but it's the same time, I feel
like there's room for fraud in just about every policy.
that may be true. And we can decide to either take it out or we can leave it in. And it's up to you. I'm just bringing it up because I don't think that there was a clear direction on that. So
For us, it doesn't matter until it matters for someone. And then how do we go about it then? If you're doing it and without fraud and can you ask, how's HIPAA work on that? Can we ask for a doctor's note for dietary needs? Like if it's going to cost us money, we should be able to get specifications, but I think it should still be available to.
I do think that I'm actually okay with it as is. I know that if there's, when you go to a conference, you are paying for the food that's there. And if you don't like that, then okay.
It's not about not liking it. It's about whether or not their dietary restrictions can tolerate it.
Which is why we put in the allowance for that. So I think this covers what you're saying.
For the dietary yeah, but that's what the mayor is asking, that there wasn't enough support for that.
Oh, I'm okay with if we make that adjustment, the dietary restrictions. Otherwise, yeah, that's fine.
I agree with that. I'll give the benefit to the city staff.
Okay.
Benefit of the doubt.
And I don't feel like it's not reasonable to ask for something from a doctor that says that you can't, I think that's reasonable.
And I choose to believe that most people are good people.
Yeah, me too. But they'll prove you wrong.
Okay.
I don't think they will.
Are there any other points anyone would like to bring up? Would anyone like to make a motion?
I will go ahead and make the motion that we approve R 25-19, amending the Syracuse City Personnel Policy and Procedures Manual by making the adjustments outlined in the packet.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 10 is proposed resolution R 25-20, adoption by reference to the key results and key performance indicators, KPIs, associated with the city's vision statements. We've discussed this over several months. If there's no other discussion, we could approve these and make them, ratify them.
I'm just excited. I love data. I'm an engineering nerd.
Okay?
Data and
I don't know that that was a motion, but.
No, that was a comment. I'm allowed to make comments on anything in here. It is on the agenda. I can talk about it.
preach.
I motion that we approve proposed resolution R 25-20, adopting by reference the key results and key performance indicators associated with the city's vision statements.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that was at least a little more lively. Thank you all for waking up. Item number 11, continued discussion and review of proposed contract with West Davis Corridor Aesthetic Improvements Project, which was approved by council in the April 8th business meeting. Council, let me explain why we have to bring this forward again. The bid, when we went back to the bidder that we awarded it to, said that they were not willing to break out the items that we broke out in our motion. Therefore, we now have the option of we can either negotiate something that would be acceptable, but it would be more than we approved. Therefore, we would have to get a new approval, or we could go back out to bid one more time. And this time we put together the package as we see it, because it was over budget and we needed to pull some things out. So we could just revise the package to what we would like it to be and resubmit it to bid. That will take a little bit more time. Or by way of information, Brody and I and some other staff met with UDOT, and we did ask for some allowances on time should we not be finished in time for the deadline, which is in September. However, that was not official. It's just kind of a agreement to work with us. And the director said that he felt as long as we were making a good faith effort, he thought that was in spirit of the project. So those are the things to update you on. I'm open to all suggestions.
I feel like we should put a packet together of exactly what we want. And because this back and forth of let's guess what you guys feel like you might need out there, but we have an idea of exactly what we want already.
Okay.
So put it in a packet and people can tell us what it's going to cost us.
So I guess what I'm curious about, it's along those same lines. I agree. Let's say we go out and it comes in higher than all of these. Can we still fall back on this?
No, this is no longer an option. They have said that they won't honor their bid. So that their bid is not an option.
Oh, then
Then why
only
would-
option is to go out back out.
Why would we go back to them with anything?
We could negotiate a price, but it would have to be on the terms of they would be allowed. I think they said they would put in like another 180,000. So I don't think that's a good option
I would go.
Why wouldn't they honor their bid?
because they said that their mobilization costs were spread over items that we pulled from the bid, which was the landscaping and bouldering. And when we pulled those out, they said that that included some essential costs for them that made this project no longer work the way that we asked for it.
Oh,
And I'm just
I didn't
sharing.
realize people made so much money off boulders.
I didn't either, but again, I'm just sharing what we were told.
$180,000.
Some rocks.
And we're trying to save
I
money.
like rock.
We are trying to save
Trying
money.
to save the taxpayers money, and we were gonna take care of our own boulders and take care of
Yes.
our own grading.
Yeah, I'm
It's like
okay.
they're kind of forcing us into buying their boulders, and I think we have great boulders.
Okay, so
You want to like,
aside from the boulders, the question is, the key elements of the project are the signs and the bison that would be part of the project. We could reissue this. Now, I would be of the position, and I said this to staff when I first heard about this, because this has been out to bid already, I would recommend a shorter bid period. We are not required to do the same lengthy bid process. And I would also recommend that staff reach out and solicit more bidders than we received in the open notice, which we also are allowed to do when we do a rebid. So those are my two recommendations.
Sure, I agree with those.
Yep, I do.
Yeah, I like that.
Not a vote here, so yeah, go forth.
All right, so what I'm hearing is a decision to rebid this. that we're going to rebid this. The package will become the signs and the bison only, because that's what was decided on in the previous meeting.
Well,
And
landscaping. and all
landscaping
the other
around the
stuff.
signs.
Yeah, okay. I mean, we don't want to
Just around the signs, not the landscaping for the bouldered area.
Sure.
That was pulled out.
Well, I mean, we can't just have dirt there.
Well, I think the decision, if I recall the record, and we may have to pull something up here, was that that would be at a later date on our own.
Oh, we're breaking it. Okay.
That's what I believe was the, does anybody remember that differently?
Some wildflowers, call it good.
I thought it included some of those wildflowers.
Yeah, that's
It
what we were
did
talking
just
about,
around the
yeah.
Signs. It didn't include them in like the underpass area where they wanted to do some
I guess
bouldering.
I'm slightly worried about us having a bison and a sign with some flowers around it and then weeds everywhere else.
No, well, not where the
There is the
bison
natural wildflower mix. that
And the
comes from
grass.
UDOT and the grass.
and the wild,
land.
yeah, the native grass seed. is
Yeah,
what's
that's
going out
already
So
there.
we'll be mowing that.
No, you don't mow native grass.
You just let it go. And for some, that may look like weeds because it is natural.
And in July, is that not a
Oh.
fire hazard?
It could be. I guess that's a question that we need to bring forward, but it wouldn't be any more of a fire hazard than.
In my front yard.
Than any other part of UDOT, because it's what they do at all of UDOT exits.
I just don't want our sign to burn.
It's not
Well, it
gonna
would be
burn.
metal, so I'm not sure that that's.
All right.
I hope we have firefighters to take care of it.
Oh, buzzing.
All right. So I'm open to other suggestions. I'm trying to review what I believe was
Now we're getting
put
somewhere.
forward, which was that the signs and the area surrounding it, the bison, we did get clearance for the bison the way that we had them designed from that.
Wasn't this a NOAA topic?
I think it's city.
I'm just asking. We love you, Steve, but I think no, were we right about the grass around it?
So yeah, Noah helped with design. Steve's overseeing the construction and end of it. So it's kind of a team
I
project.
was waiting for a chime in, but then I realized he was sitting in the back.
I'm here.
So is it the grass around it, the native grass around it? How far out was like this stretch from the sign?
So there's kind of two areas. The sign area is pretty immediate, like 6 feet around it. And then the side slope where the sculptures are kind of scattered along, that's a pretty big swath. It's probably like, I don't know, probably 150, 200 feet of kind of a swath of these that it's called bio-native. It's actually spec'd out to be a turf that they roll out like a turf. It's already kind of matured that way. But obviously, we just need to know what to include in the bid when we go back out. And we know that we can't afford everything. So,
All right. We can move forward. Just hope we don't have to readdress later.
Thank you.
wait, so did I understand exactly what we were?
I don't know that
Oh, we're not there yet.
Well,
Okay, I
I'm
wasn't clear on
concerned
that.
that we're already
Sorry, Steve.
projected to be over budget again, which is going to be a problem when it comes back. So what we believed was in the budget at the correct price would have been just the bison and the signs at the Antelope exit
Along with some limited landscaping around.
around it.
That is correct.
Okay,
What is our bid for the bison? Like, what is the cost for it? Because I'm not seeing,
I don't know that that was broken out by bison. Was it broken
I
out?
believe it was around 198,000.
gosh. Hey,
Or all
local
of-
artist guy, I bet we could get someone to do it a lot cheaper. Have local artists,
Which
If you're out there, please reach out.
the metal works of, yeah.
one thing that I did bring up to Brody just before this meeting is, I think, though we don't know how they'll respond, I think that we ought to respond or reach out to a sign builder / artist. And because that's the bulk of the project, and maybe they would act as general and lease out the landscaping portion.
Sure.
I like that
Meaning
idea.
that there would be less overhead attached to the part that they don't do. I don't know if we'll get anyone wwho would do it. We'll see.
So I actually know some people that are in the artistic welding world, so I can reach out to them, and they live in Layton. And I can
Okay.
reach out to them and see if they,
I have
come in
reached
and
out
have
to
a
people who
conversation.
live in Syracuse, but last time they were very high, so I don't know.
yeah, but
Well, it's,
some $1,000.
it's no small sculpture. I mean,
It's not.
it's,
No, yeah, no, I understand that.
it's not like the one at the water park.
It is, actually. This is, the sign one was bigger, but the bison are about the same size.
Yeah, there's
We're
like
not
10 of
talking
those.
about the roundabout one. That's a different one. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
That one
let's,
is much bigger.
let's take it out to bid, and then obviously we can reach out to some of the locals and see what.
Okay, so this is not an item for vote, but I'm just going to kind of is everyone agreed that we're going to agree with?
Scrap it, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'm going to call this one done. We now know what we're going to do. The next item on our agenda is our second period of public comment. We always, in our business meetings, have 2 periods of public comment. Is there anyone here that would like to make a public comment? Same rules apply. Seeing none, I will close public comment. That brings us to mayor and council announcements. If we have anything to bring forward to the people, I'm going to start down at your end, Brett.
Nothing from me. Thank you.
Okay.
The CTC has been meeting monthly, and we're making really good progress. My particular assignment is involved with the sale of the vaping and alcohol, but mostly vaping to to minors, which would be illegal. And it's pretty exciting to see that most often stores are being compliant with not selling to minors in our communities in the northern Davis area. So it's pretty exciting when we continue to work with the stores to reward them for their good behavior for not selling to minors.
I don't have anything.
Jordan.
Hey, I want to do a shout out to the Disaster Preparedness Committee. They had the great shakeout citywide, what you call it? Not disaster. It was a disaster exercise, I think is what we're calling it. We had great participation from all the districts in the city. Shout out to Bluff, who has now won twice in a row. So the Syracuse Bluff district has won twice ago. Their puzzle was the most complete of all of the puzzles in the city. So nice job to that team. There will be a report on this for the council at our next meeting. So that was awesome. Also, if you're not aware, the Syracuse Temple Open House is going on. We've seen some increased traffic on that, but it hasn't been too bad. I know they do have free tickets if anyone's interested in going. So I think that's everything for me.
I just this last week had the privilege of going with the museum to the carriage museum, and it's like the horse-drawn carriage.
I doubt a horse drew any of those carriages.
Anyway, so there's over 350 carriages in that place. And I've never been to a museum before where I wanted to just cry when I walked in because it was so beautiful. But I'm telling you that story to tell you this story. The van that we took is a safety hazard. It is so dangerous. It has so much play in the steering wheel, the little minibus that we took. Send that thing to Paul. And I'm saying it here because people don't ever take what I say very seriously, I feel like.
Oh.
Now it's on camera, so if something happens. Okay, you were warned. It needs fixed. But that's it. That's all I got.
Okay. Council, I
You just gotta
would
tighten down the bolt on it.
just mention that I continue to send you civic events when I find them. If you saw the one that North Salt Lake did, I thought that was very interesting. I'm not suggesting that we have a kite festival, though I'm not opposed. My point is, if anyone has one of those ideas, I feel like that's great stuff to bring forward, especially since most of that doesn't cost a lot. We are planning a dog park opening. Right now, that looks like that will be the 2nd of June. And we're excited for that. Again, we're just working on making sure the grass is well rooted before we open that to traffic. But that will be a very exciting moment. Other than that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Great job, council.
Did you guys get your invitations?